All right, part 2 of planning, this time using Rockbook, but also the TMR. I didn't really plan this one out, so a little bit of winging it here, but I did just want to dig in a little bit when we're having or talking about the topic of planning and letting the reps know where you'll be next week. I think it's also really important that we know how to use the TMR to see what's happening in a territory. So I thought I'd pick on Tobacco Road again and just look into Lorna's since we were just talking about Lorna. So I'm going to download the TMR. Same way I did before, aerial button, click download. And I should have done this beforehand because sometimes it takes a while, but let's open up the TMR. And I wanted to make a video on this because I know you guys are familiar with the TMR, but I think there are ways to play around with the pivot tables to get a little bit deeper, see more information that is helpful. So let's say that I'm working with Lorna, going to tech. So I'm going to start by going to the sales by account worksheet, if it would allow me to do so. Give it a second here. All right. So now I can see my list of reps. The first thing I might want to do is just drill down to Lorna. You don't have to do that, but I do just to make the information cleaner. So now I can just kind of see her year over year and what's going on. And if I'm going to Virginia Tech, I kind of want to just get a better understanding of why she's down 147K from last year. So what I like to do when I'm in this view, and I know Jake does the same thing, probably Ryan too, I want to see more about what's happening. So you see the account and the difference year over year, but what are the actual courses? So I will actually go to the course and I will drop course. I'll just drag course right under account. So then now I can see each account and the courses below. So I use the trusty pivot table analyze, collapse field. And then I can see, okay, let's just go into Virginia Tech. So now I can see Lorna's a B&E rep. I can see what's going on in each course. If I want to, I can also drill down into a little bit deeper, and I like to go see the primary author. So I'm going to drag that under course, and then I can see what's happening. So I'm going to collapse again just so I can see the dollar amount. So accounting, we took a big loss here. So we lost 100,000 in accounting and 100,000 in business management and organization. So what is happening here? So this just allows me, you don't have to spend too much time on this. They're not asking you to spend a couple of hours digging in, but it just gives you a really nice view into, okay, I'm working with Lorna. Let's look at her accounts. Let's see what's happening in each one of these adoptions. So this is where probably you guys already have a good sense of what has happened in these courses. But if not, it allows you to, have deeper conversations with the rep. Not to say, hey, what did you do? How'd you screw up these adoptions? But, we did lose a big chunk of money in accounting and business management. So if it wasn't a loss due to, say, inclusive access, and we're going to see that in the spring, how can we make this up in somewhere else? Or can we win the business back? So that is what I would do first. And then you can always go into change by discipline. That's another tab that I use heavily. But for a situation like this where I just know I'm prepping for the day before, I'll probably go in and take a look at each course under Virginia Tech. Have some brief conversations with Lorna, but just to kind of pump her up to say, all right, let's talk about what happened. Let's look into the Rockbook now and see, okay, where can we make this up? The first thing I would do, which I'm not going to do because I don't have it up, but maybe potentially look at the rollover report to look at the actual dollars to see where I should target first using the rollover report in your static reports. So that is also, which if you guys don't know, the rollover report. But then if I take a look at the Rockbook again, I'm going to go back to the Rockbook for Tobacco Road. I'm going to select Lorna again. I'm going to go back to Virginia Tech. Oh, I add it in a new slicer. I'm going to delete that out. So I'm going to clear out the other filters. So we've got Lorna, Virginia Tech. So we just on the earlier video went through how to see the roles. So that's one thing you could do. However, probably best, because I use the TMR to see actual dollars year over year, to see our roles in service. Use the rollover report to see what we can impact right away. And then I use the Rockbook a lot to take a look at the takeaways, what's qualified, what is in short stack. If you have targeted properly in your pre-sale tags and you have the right LS top targets, again, from the earlier video, you can easily do that as well. So if I have top targets selected here, great, looks like I have 4 top targets. But let's also see the staging that Lorna has done. So I want to see any of her takeaways that are in qualified or short stack. So I will select takeaways. And then she doesn't have anything in short stack at Virginia Tech, but let's take a look at her qualified. One thing that's really neat, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit, is I have the discipline on here because I think it's helpful for the learning specialists in particular to see, okay, especially if you're looking at your district as a whole or the reps that you cover, if you filter to takeaway as the type and then the stage qualified and short stack, it gives you a nice view into the different disciplines that are that your reps are tracking as, you know, possible adoptions that we have a good likelihood of winning. So it helps us to go, okay, well, if I'm working with Lorna tomorrow, I can see that business law, management and organization, marketing, finance, and biz comm are qualified for her. So maybe if I'm planning for the day with Lorna as a learning specialist, I might go into some of the Connect courses. I might look at some of the Cornerstone videos, and that will help me kind of prep for the meetings that I might have tomorrow on campus. So that's a cool way of using the Rockbook. But also I can see right on the right-hand side the opportunity list. These are just all of the takeaways that are qualified at Virginia Tech, so we know we're going to come in and meet with these instructors tomorrow. So I think that's a pretty cool view to see as well. So you could add that for Amy's view once we kind of get through roles and we roll our roles. It is a nice way to see, and in that message to your reps, you can say, okay, these are the takeaways that are qualified at Tech. We're gonna touch base with these adoptions tomorrow as well. But I kind of wanted to clear out the filters for Lorna so you can see what I was mentioning earlier. So if I'm looking at the full district, or if maybe I'm the district manager looking and I want to see all of the reps based on their takeaways that are in qualified and short stack, it lets me see the accounts top to bottom, highest to lowest in terms of enrollment and revenue. So what are these accounts? The top reps based on highest to lowest enrollment. We know that it's takeaway, but you can kind of expand that out to see based on the type and stage. So you've got your short stack. So we can see we've got 28 ops that are in short stack in the district. We've got 419 that are qualified. So what are those ops? So I can take a look here just to see my short stack ops, or you could see the full list on the far right side. But as the example I was using earlier, if I'm looking at the full district, I might want to see, you know, my top 10 disciplines based on what is marked by the reps as qualified and short stack. And you can see in Tobacco Road, that's going to be application software. So I hope Aaron and Ann are getting up to speed, beefing up their knowledge on CIT, because that's going to be a big one in Tobacco Road, as it should be across the country. You can see Psych, Intro to Psych, that's a big one. So it allows us as learning specialists to prepare better than before, because we can see as a district, okay, based on how the reps have done their staging, based on how we have done our targeting, these are the ops that we have the highest likelihood of closing. So a lot of cool things that you can do with the Rockbook. Again, I always start with the TMR and the rollover report, just that's real data. And then when we're looking at the takeaways, the Rockbook allows you to really drill in and get a better sense of how we are staging and targeting in Salesforce. Let me know if any of you guys have questions. I'm happy to help. Love to hear different creative ways that you guys use these reports. If you have anything that you do that I haven't mentioned, love to hear about it. So thanks again, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.